Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back with yet another Photoshop tutorial. As mentioned last week, I'll be doing a tutorial on how to make a splash screen. This first one that we're going to make is going to be rather simple, and no, it's not the one I have up here right now. I'm just going to be using this as a quick demo at the start to go over the do's and don'ts of making a splash screen. So we're going to go over that, and I'm going to be making a really simple one to start, and depending on how that's received and how you guys like it, I'll make another one that's a bit more complicated, and we'll work our way up from there. But as I mentioned, it's to start, I'll make a really simple one, and I'm not really sure why I haven't made one before, because splash screen is one of the first things you unlock through server boosting, and server banners, which is the thing that's in the top left, is the one you unlock later on. So a lot more of you would have unlocked this part of the whole server features things. So alright, so I'm going to start out, I'm going to talk about the best way to organize your banner. What you want to focus on is having most of your stuff on the right side. This is the most of what your audience or the people joining your server are going to see, everything on the right. Now there are some scenarios where they're going to see the full image. For example, some advertising sites will have your splash screen as the backgrounds, and when members get the invite to your server within Discord itself and they click join, and there's that pop-up, it will have this there as well. But in general, when somebody joins to the browser, the image that's going to pop up is going to be this one. As you can see right here, there are some visible issues, as the first one is the left side's cut off, which is why I mentioned have everything important focused on the right side. That doesn't mean you want to neglect the left side, because then you have this big giant thing of nothingness, and when people do see the full image, you're going to have a really nice right side, and left side is going to be really bland and boring to look at. Now, that doesn't mean make the left side super detailed, but you should have something there to fill the void, some content. And you can also see that some parts are also cut off. If you look at the top here, you can only see the you can see at the top part of these characters are cut off, and when we come over here, we can see that this happens at right about this spot right here. So this entire area right here is completely gone because it's being cut off. Now, as I mentioned, there are some scenarios where that you're going to see all of this, but you have to keep in mind how you're positioning things for best visibility, because 99% of your potential audience and new joiners are going to see your splash screen just like this. So, without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. Now, the design we're going to be using is really similar to past ones. It's going to be these shapes in the backgrounds. The reason I really focus on this one is it's really simple, and it really, honestly, looks pretty great if you can get it right. Size you want is 1920 by 1080. Click Create. And one thing I do want to mention is I'm going to be switching up how we do these background shapes. As you can see, the ones I did for my splash screen are based around my community. There's a camera for photos, because we're anime/Japan based, and we have photos of Japan and arts, the logo, the partner logo, some Pokemon mixed in, and our mascot, as well as these lanterns and a temple. For ours, I'm going to be doing, as usual, all the different Pokemon shapes, but normally how I did them is I'll line them up like this, and I just copy paste all the way down. But the problem that rises from that is you end up with this temple there, this temple there, this temple there, all the way down, and it's not a nice pattern. Instead, it's easy to tell it's copy pasted all the way over, and it just doesn't line up well. So we're going to be switching it up, how we copy paste it, just so it looks a bit cleaner. And the color we're going to be using is this one right here. It's the same one from the Splashscreen I used for my own community, and it's a pretty decent color, but of course you can switch it up if you dislike it. I will generally use pastel-ish colors, not too bright, not too light, but somewhere in between. And this one's 53ABEE for those who couldn't see it properly. And as usual, get rid of the backgrounds. Don't need that. Go to our paint bucket, drop that down, name this the backgrounds, Control G to group it, and we'll name this the base layer. And this is where most of our modifications will be occurring. And I've already opened this up just so we can quickly access it. And unlike usual, we go all the way down to 30 or 35%, I believe it was, for the server banners. We're only going to be going down to 75 for these because this is a much larger image and the icons are large enough that they are close to this size, so we won't have to adjust them too much. So let's go ahead and group this as well. I'm going to color this up. Let's do red, the first one. And we'll name these the background images. Now, all these steps, if you've seen the other videos, you're already familiar with them. We're just going to Control J, Pikachu, and I'm going to pause real quick while I do this, just so you don't have to watch these repetitive steps. Alright, so I went ahead and separated these all onto their own layers and named them as such. And the next step is going to involve us moving these into a pattern that we like. So I'm going to start with Pikachu just because it's the first one and move this to the corner. That's good. We'll go ahead and not grab the Pokeball next. We'll grab Snorlax just to help differentiate it a bit. And now we'll grab the Pokeball. I am bad at moving around. Pokeball, we'll put that right here. That's a pretty good distance, I think. Let's put it here, and the Snorlax right about here. We want to try to get the Pokeball or the image underneath, whichever that is, between the two. And I think that's okay. Let's go ahead and grab the Psyduck next. 76. That's good. Let's grab Charmander. That's lined up. And that's about between there. And let's grab Bulbasaur. That's 79. And Jigglypuff. And then hopefully this should all line up nicely. Not quite. Let's move Bulbasaur over a little bit. It's not going to be quite aligned, but it's not overly noticeable. Especially once we change the luminosity of it. And then we're going to move, not going to use Squirtlers because he's not going to show up blue on blue. Well, he'll show up, but not too well. And then for this last one, make sure it's lined up, and then, there we go, that should be fine. And we'll go ahead and group this up and name this one. Control J that over to right about how we want it. That's just about perfect, and we'll do it again. And then we'll do it one more time, just a second. And this gives us plenty of clearance, just like that. And we'll name this 2, 3, and then 4. Now that those are lined up, before I forget, we're going to switch this to luminosity. And we're going to go down to about 25%. Let's try 26, 27. Probably keep it at 26 for now, and we can see how that goes later. And now we take all of these again, group it, and we'll name this one again. No, I'm not very original with my names, but it gets the job done. 2, and that's the second row. We're going to bring this down. And this, with other tutorials, is normally what I would say, alright, just keep on going like that. But we're going to switch this up. And now we're going to drag this over by 1. Just so we can get it looking a bit different for each column going down. Now we can switch this up even more, but I think this looks perfectly fine. If we wanted to, we could go like this. Now the idea is you don't want to line it up so the top and the bottom are like this. You want to keep it where the one underneath is alternating. So you have that way, that way, that way. And it goes like that. I might actually go like this just so we don't have patterns going across. And I'll duplicate it again. I'll name that 3. And then we'll go down. Keep it the same. And drag it over again. So Jigglypuff this time. Line it up there, and we'll do it again. And this will be 4. And I think this is just a nice overall addition to make sure it's not super repetitive. And we'll drag this way over this time. Put Psyduck right there, Pikachu right there. Talking about these lining up. Let's see. I'm going to do another one, and we'll name this 5. And we're almost there, just one more after this. We'll drag that over. Let's say Snorlax. They've actually already been there, so let's go back to the top and put Snorlax right there. I'm looking at this row for reference. That's there, and we'll do one more time. And we did Snorlax there, so let's go Jigglypuff this time. So drag that down. And we'll do a Jigglypuff. Cool. And now this pattern is, in my opinion, a lot better than the pattern that we were doing before, just because it's a lot more random while still keeping some form, and we'll name that 6. So now we have our backgrounds. You can, from here, do one of two things, or one of several things. You could straight up just add your logo going across. You technically have something going on over here on the left side now, so it's not super boring, and you could just cut it off here. Or you can do a few more steps just to give it a bit more detail, which is what I'll continue doing. But there are several different routes you could take, and it's really up to you how you want to approach that. Next part is we're going to grab the blue, but we're going to grab a darker version of it. We'll go to our backgrounds, and we're going to go over here, give this a darker stroke, and we're probably going to want just about 8 pixels, but we'll see how that looks. That is too thin. I want to go higher than that. That should be good. There we go. And we want to line this up so that it's even all the way across. And we have to keep in mind that a fair bit of the top is going to get chopped off. Let's go back to this one and let's do Control R so we can see the ruler. And it looks like this one gets chopped off just about here. About 0, 1, 2, 3. I meant to do Control R. Control R, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So right about where the line is right now is where it's going to get chopped off. So we'll leave the line right there so people can see the line, but everything else is going to get adjusted out. Cool, so I think this should be fine if we center it. Yep, that should be good, and we'll name this the edge. And what you could actually do from here, just to spice it up a little bit more, is go to blending options, and we can give this a gradient, just like what I did with the other one. So the gradient I'm going to use is going to be a lighter color, and I'll make this even a bit lighter, like that, and a darker color. And okay, normal, we don't want an overlay, and scale it just like this. And then we can rasterize that. We can go to blending options. We can do a bevel. That's too big of a bevel. And we can do a pattern. Yes, this is exactly the pattern I want. This is perfect. I always wanted these beautiful leaves all over. No, that's not the pattern we want. We want a line pattern. We want to have overlay and bring the scale up. Now you can find this line pattern online pretty easily just by googling Photoshop line patterns, and you'll find more than you would ever need. I'm going to add a drop shadow as well to help it pop a little bit. Let's see, size, distance. Bring the distance down a little bit. I need to drop the opacity, and I don't want global light. Never use global light. That is, unless your project involves photorealism, I suppose, don't use global light because using that will mess up all your shadows. And that is not what you want, most likely. Yes, I'm taking a long time with this. Okay, there, that should be fine. Okay, so let's hide this. And we can just make that green, because we're not going to be touching the edge again. We're not going to need it. So this next step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop in a character over here. And if you've seen the one that has Charizard, the server banner that has Charizard in it, I'm not going to be doing exactly that with the thing on the left side, which is like, this is an example with that pink stuff, but in that case it was orange, I believe. I'll just be dropping in a character, and then for the right side I have the text exactly the same as that banner, just because it's really simple, and I think it's great general use for a lot of different communities, and it's easy to make. Did I say that already? I think I did. Actually, before I do the text, I'm gonna get the background set up. I almost forgot about that. While we have most of it there, there's a ruler and everything now, I think. While we have most of it there, I forgot a few finishing touches for it. One of those includes this. I'm gonna create a clipping mask. I think overlay looks best for this one, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it soft light? I think it was soft light. Yep, soft light. As you can see, there's a little bit of a texture in the background now, and we don't need that anymore, so we can get rid of that. And a dot pattern. This one is going to be at soft light as well, but first we need to get the pattern set up. Let's start from the corner. That should be a good size for the pattern. I'm going to group that first. Doesn't matter if we name this at the moment, we're just going to be duplicating this over. Lined up. Duplicate that over again. Control J. Control J. Nope, I screwed that up. Stop it. Don't do this to me. Stop it. Go. Properly. There we go. I'm going to grab all these, Control J, bring this down. Control J once more and bring that down. If it wants to line up. I hate it when it does. Look at that. Who would ever want to... I don't even know. Come on, there we go. Now we can merge the group. And dots. Just to keep it nice and organized. And we'll do soft light and bring this down to right about here. And that just added a bit more depth to the background, so it's not just a solid color and the shapes. Now, if you don't want that, you can remove it, but I'll leave it in here, and you can do as you wish. And as you could probably imagine, to match the background, you're going to be using an anime character. Before you ask, I did attempt to make it somewhat suitable for work. I can't speak again today. You can probably guess where I attempted to do that at. I'll have the unedited version in the file, but it's up to you how you want to do it. There we go. That's good. Adjustments. And actually, I might even make her larger. This is a big no-no. I do not recommend doing this normally, but I want the character to be a bit bigger to feel the frame better. Cool. And real quick, I'm going to take her like this and Control J, because you're going to be cutting other parts off in a moment. I'm going to do a drop shadow just to have her pop a little bit. I'm going to go in that direction, right about there. Pass you up a little bit. I'm going to rasterize layer style, and here we're going to actually put it underneath the edge, and we're going to cut off the part sticking out. It includes this up here, and that there. And now we have our character model on the left side. If you want to take it a step further, you can look at the tutorial on how I did the server banner for the top part and figure out how to make this, but just scale it up, of course, to properly fit this 1920 by 1080 size. But if you want to keep it simple like this, you can just drop on a character, drop shadow, and cut off the part sticking outside of the frame. Alright, now the character's set, I'm going to get rid of this. And we're going to start on the two little banners over here. Now these are going to be basically the same stuff that you saw before for the other video if you saw it, but I think it looks okay. So we're going to hide our base layer because that's unnecessary. We'll group this, there's no reason to hide that, and we'll name this a text area. I'm going to make this, let's go yellow, and I'll speed it up a little bit because this video is getting pretty long for the kind of video that it is. Don't need a stroke, so we can get rid of that stroke. We will be using this color right here, and let me pop that up. That's FCF 2D8. Just make it about this size. Yes, just like that. No. Make it about that size there. And we'll extend this out a tad bit. Just like so. Maybe even a little bit more, just to have a little bit more working room. That should be alright. I'm going to rasterize that, and we'll group that, and we'll name this a top text. And real quick, we're going to get the bottom set up as well. We're going to use a rounded rectangle for this one. Come on. There we go. I'm going to want it to be a bit bigger than that. Not too big. It's going to be right about there. And we're going to want to make it a bit more rounded than it already is. That should be fine. And actually, because the back's going to be cut off a bit, there we go. And we'll group this and name this the bottom text. Rasterize this because we're going to come to the back here, and we're going to cut this off right about there. Chop that, drag this over holding shift to keep it steady, and that's lined up there. Top part, let's go back to this, and we're going to be grabbing our pen tool because we're going to make a flag. So click in the corner, and it takes a few steps to get right. Shift click, shift click. As you can see, I missed the edge, so I'm going to try again. Shift click, miss the edge, try one more time. And I'll consider that perfect. That's as close as it's going to get. Because I have a feeling that if I go one more over, it's not going to... Yep, see? But that's fine, I'll leave it like that, it works. And make selection, and the reason it's happening is because I made this a bit uneven. So it's not lining up perfectly, but it's... Oops, I did it the wrong way around. It's not properly... Hold up, why is it deleting the entire thing? It's never done that before. Did I rasterize it? Could have sworn I rasterized it. For some reason it selected the inverse, so I always hit select to inverse, and it properly selected the area. That was very strange. Never had that happen before. And then our little flag shape is there. I'm going to go to blending options for this. And just to give a little style, I'm not going to bevel it. We'll give it a drop shadow. we'll give it a pattern, I think, if the patterns look okay. Let's see. Do I have a better pattern? These are the only patterns I have? No, nope. Definitely not. That could be decent. I'm really not feeling that actually. No, 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 oh, I don't like any of these. Web patterns, what is this? What are these horrible shapes? Rock patterns. Beautiful. Nature patterns. Okay, I'm going off here. Let's not have a pattern because I don't have the pattern I want. Let's go for a... Is that gonna look okay? That could be interesting if you didn't have the drop shadows. Like it would look like it was cutting in, but I don't think I'm going to use that. Actually, let's hit OK there, and let's go to the base layer real quick, and we'll grab this, move it up, create clipping mask, and we'll use it here as well. Just so that this is a little bit more interesting. It's not so boring. And I might actually add a stroke as well, because this just feels really bland to that pattern. And I don't have the right pattern that I would normally use. Stroke to the wrong thing. So it's not going to work, but we can definitely do something with this. That should be fine. Cool, that should work. And up here, we'll just name this. Let's grab this blue color from the backgrounds. If you couldn't guess, we're going to put Suke up here, and we're going to be using Tokyo font. I'm not sure what's on Nexa right now. Didn't use Nexa anytime recently. And we're using the blue from the backgrounds. Now I want it all capitalized. Let's go get that fixed. Actually enlarge this a bit more. Cool, that's done for the most part. And this top, so at the bottom, let's quickly add the text here as well. We'll name this Discord. Now we want that color. I'm going to drop the size. It's too big. Perfect. Come on, line up. Go. Don't be stubborn. Come on. There we go. And for this one, we can do a blending options. Let's try. I'm going to keep the drop shadow. Not an outer glow. Drop the size a little bit. And I really wish I had that pattern. There's a pattern that looked really nice, but I haven't yet got all my patterns onto this new PC yet. Let's see. Maybe the line pattern will look okay on this. I'm not too keen on using it again, but it needs a little something. And I might actually just keep that line pattern there. That top text also looks boring. Let's give that a line pattern. Drop shadow might not be too bad either. Let's see. So it stands out a little bit. And pattern overlay. That should be fine. Even add a stroke if you wanted to. It's a little over the top, but if you want. And here, this is basically the very end of the video. You can add something to the bottom to help spice it up, like your logo. Or you could add, like I did here, some tree branches or a flag or some other shape, just to give a little bit extra. Or you can leave it like this. It's plain and simple, but that's the idea for this tutorial. So I'll leave this as is, upload it like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I have another video on screen linking the video that has the server banner template that has this style here, if you're thinking about making that yourself. And of course, this template will be available for download and all the assets that I used. So thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome day.